here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's good, guys? Your boy, Hugo the Savage, back again for another Savage Talks live. Hope everyone's good. I hope everyone is well. You already know before we get started. Mental health check, physical check. Listen, man. Hydration and exercise is the key. You already know the vibes. You see the title of the video. We're going to get into it. Before I let the dust settle throughout the week first, before I even cover this subject properly. Told you I was going to come back with another live stream. I was going to do another stream over on HUGO Online, but as I said, as much as I want to put content out as much as I can, I don't want to give people subpar content because I feel like streaming. There will be times when I can just throw a stream on. There was a few that I did prior on HUGO Online where when I was editing, I just threw a stream together. So while I'm editing, I can just chop it up with you guys. So I think the next HUGO Online stream, which we'll probably do tomorrow, it'll probably be just like a nice relaxed Q&A. Got boxing to watch tomorrow anyway, so I'll probably do it leading up to boxing or after, or I might just do while boxing's on, to be honest, because whether you guys are watching or not won't really make a difference, and boxing's only going to be 36 minutes max or something like that. So, but I did want to throw a stream together today, and yeah, no one in the wrestling, I don't really like calling it that, but in the wrestling community has been living under a rock. So I'm sure we are well, it'll be Saturday morning for me in a few hours, and depending if you're on Australia, it'll be already that. But it'll be a week removed from Wrestlemania. By the time we do maybe a SmackDown review tomorrow, which is crazy to think about it. Well, a week and a bit, because obviously SmackDown was Saturday night, or Sunday night, and yeah, so it's gone quick, isn't it? And it just shows how quick things go in this space. How so not long ago we were at Royal Rumble, then Elimination Chamber, and then a couple Saturday night main events, and then we was at WrestleMania, and that's done. And now I look forward to WrestleMania 42. Yeah, so it's crazy. It's crazy how it works, man. And the topic of the week has been about The Rock and Triple H. It's been about The Rock's appearance on the Pat McAfee show. I don't know if responding as such, but kind of responded to the quote unquote backlash, or where The Rock was at WrestleMania. It seemed to be the question. A lot of fans not happy. They have every right not to be happy, because it's all opinion based. It's all subjective based anyway. Big up to you, man, in the chat. I can see you guys. So everyone has what I mean, I only feel like really how you express your opinion and how you express your disdain for certain things is where the issue comes, depending if you're going to be personal about people or being rude about people and stuff. But if it's just a honest discourse, whether you're raising your voice or chilling, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think it gets a bit scummy when we're talking about other stuff. And my perspective on wrestling and the creative team and all that stuff changes, not day by day, but it changes frequently, because I'm always trying to establish the fact that these people have a job to do. They are better at that job than I could be, because I'm not one of those. Even though at times it feels like the fact that I feel like I can give certain stories and say certain things is either two things. It's either a compliment to myself, or it's showing how poor and I'll probably go with how poor the creative team is still, because I'm just a fan. I'm a professional fan. That's kind of how I run with that. So, and I don't know who the writers are, which is always a thing. You know what I mean? I don't know if the writers grew up on wrestling. I don't know if the writers are wrestling fans. I don't know if they just went to university to do screenwriting. I don't know. I don't know if they came from theater. I don't know if they came from TV. So these things do matter, because I remember we had do you remember it was around lockdown times where we had that thing with Bobby Lashley, and that writer got removed because I think she said that she didn't know who Bobby Lashley was, or she didn't say his name properly, and she was trying to take the piss out of wrestling at the time, and she got removed very quickly. I also think that probably a problem with what's going on backstage in terms of creative as well might be from the fact of a lot of people who are backstage in creative are just ex-wrestlers. And, when the fans are in their emotions and not thinking logically, the easy thing to say is, oh, yeah, he was great, man. He was... And I'm not dissing anyone, by the way, but people, oh, yeah, Road Dogg, he was a great wrestler, so that means great and creative. Just example. You know what I mean? Tyson Kidd, oh, he's a great wrestler. And I'm just like, that Could be true because you've got an eye for the business, but also you don't have an eye for being a wrestling fan because you was a rest. Arguably, you was a wrestler longer than you was a wrestling fan. Like once you was in the business, you got into the business at 18, and you've been in the business and creative longer than that. Um, and I feel like logically people don't want to think about it, but it's the same in any other sport, really. The amount of great football, um, the amount of great footballers that have been and then become managers and been poor managers is astounding. But because it just shows that it doesn't, you see things different, and also there's a bias that you carry with you when you've been a wrestler yourself. You know, if you was a top heel wrestler, you might want to only book people like this. If your style of wrestling that you like is more indie based or Japanese style wrestling, then you're gonna book stuff like that. If you like embellished stories, you're gonna book more embellished stories. Whereas a writer is normally brought in to do a job in it, so they have a style, but you're brought in to do a job, and it doesn't matter what your bias is. It doesn't matter what you like. You took the job, do it properly, and do it to the best of your ability, and make these fans love it and entertain them. And if it doesn't work, you can't entertain anyone. I mean everyone. But if it doesn't work, then we have to look at you're not doing your job properly. That's just how life works. But in the WWE, in pro wrestling, it's such a it's such a bubble that nobody seems to keep the same energy for those kind of things. No one seems to be held accountable. Everyone seems to be doing the same kind of like pandering. We got WWE superstars now, not in a disrespectful way. It's their prerogative, but you can kind of see like they've all been let off the leash a little bit because Vince has gone. And listen, from some stories, I can't blame them because it doesn't sound like a nice place to work all the time. But also, it seems like the pressure what was put on some of these people got the best out of them because they wasn't allowed to just chill. They wasn't allowed to just cut terrible promos constantly and just still get away with it. And yeah, don't worry, you're great. You're great because there's someone's being biased to you in it, but you might want to check what the fans are saying. You might want to see what the metrics are saying. You might want to check the audience on the first hour and the second hour and the third hour, because did the audience drop when that person was in the ring? When that person cut a promo, did you see that the audience had turned the TV over? Did you see that Netflix numbers have they've logged out and logged back in? Did you check all of that stuff? Because merch ain't just going to be the only seller, innit? You know what I mean? Sometimes merch is just good. You know what I'm saying? Like I've brought merch before, not because I love the wrestler. I just think the merch is cold and I think they're decent. So do you think people need to keep a finger on the pulse? It's very evident, like I said, that since Vince has left, that there's it feels like the inmates are running the asylum also almost, because even Michael Cole's changed. I've been for the longest saying he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and he does. He's had a great career in the WWE, but this last year of Michael Cole has been embarrassing. It's been a bit stinky. It's been I haven't enjoyed it at all. He's getting involved in all these different things. He's extra emotional now. He's finding himself on all these podcasts and stuff. He's kind of can tell that at one point people were told you can't be on these podcasts and those kind of things. So it's very strange what's going on. We are going to get into Triple H and The Rock, by the way, but we got a bit of time on chilling, so we will talk about that. And hopefully, I don't know if I can bring. I might just. I was thinking about bringing up the clips from the Pat McAfee show, but it's probably best to just talk about them because I don't really want to get copyright and get shadow banned again. But yeah, man, I don't know what this new thing is. This Panda generation. I'm watching all these podcasts. A lot of big up Chris Van Fleet. I think he's great at his job. I think he probably the best interviewer in the game. He's not very salacious with his questions. He seems to be the wrestlers seem very comfortable around him, so he's able to get stuff out of them without really saying too much, and he gives them time to speak. So big up him. I think he's great. Somebody to look up to if you're in that space. But I'm just listening. You know what I mean? I heard the interview with Kevin Owens when he was talking about headbutting Vince McMahon, and the way he spoke about it, I was like, you sound a bit cocky about this, little did Vince know that he was going to get it anyway. I was like, what do you mean? Because I heard you moaning about not getting praised from Vince at one of the WrestleManias. Weird, weird. I thought that was strange. Acting like he's your dad and you need validation from him, but all of a sudden you want to play the hard man now that Vince is gone. It's weird. And now Gunter, I really enjoyed this interview with Ariel Hawani. Gunter's talking about feels like Triple H saved wrestling. Save wrestling. Wrestling didn't go anywhere, bro. It's been here the whole time since it's taken over. Like we've had great pay per views, but if anything, the pay per views are the one thing that WWE usually got right. The week to week show hasn't improved. The numbers haven't improved. The bloodline, like we'll take last year WrestleMania, even though he was already working there. Last year WrestleMania, because we did it yesterday on the watch along. Stephanie came out. She wants to welcome everyone to the Paul Levesque era. Okay, you've told us now. That's the starting point. Now you tell me throughout this year of watching professional wrestling, how many Raw and SmackDowns have you watched, bro, and enjoyed? How many have you enjoyed? That's the real question. And in fact, let's do this. How many Raw SmackDowns have you enjoyed without The Rock being there? And then ask your question, how many Raw SmackDowns have you enjoyed without Roman being there? And then you move them out of the way, and your answer's probably none. You wasn't enjoying Cody coming out. Hey, so what do you want to talk about? What? We don't care about that promo. We don't care. We wasn't enjoying them all of a sudden to squash Solo and turn him into a chump. No one's enjoying that, bro. So let's not pretend like we've had all these great shows. Every time someone mentions a great Raw, they mention the Raws before last year's WrestleMania. Cody and The Rock. Ooh, big surprise. Every time they mention great SmackDowns, every time you see clips online, it's all Bloodline. Bloodline and Sammy. Bloodline and Sammy. Roman and this guy. Roman and that guy. Roman and this guy. I fail to see where the creative is, considering we saw Roman in his documentary talk about his creative, and he said it was him and Paul Heyman. So, you know what I mean? I'm only taking the wrestler's words and listening and taking it from there, because I feel like I'm going into a new era as a wrestling fan myself, and I'm trying to tell myself constantly, simply because I do these shows. I'm a wrestling content creator, and I want to enjoy what I do. And really, I don't want to just give up on doing what I'm doing. But if I'm not enjoying it, that's the reason why you go and look at the reactions on my channel for the whole of last year. I went from having hundreds to like 20 because it was shit. It wasn't because I couldn't do them. It was shit. So the new era of a wrestling fan, which we're gonna have to do a video just based on the new wrestling fan, because they're forcing us to change. They're forcing us to see everything. And when I mean they're forcing us to, that thing where people can normally say, if you don't like it, don't watch it. I'm one of those people who always says that. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Or if you don't like that particular thing of this, don't watch it. It's in your face constantly. It doesn't matter where you go, it's in your face constantly. We get it. We get it, their characters. We get it that he's not dead. We get it that he didn't get buried alive. We get it that he got dashed off the roof and he ain't really dead. But can you let us just chill on it for a little bit? I know it's a new era and I have to get to grips with it too. But can you let us just chill, embellish what's happened on the show for at least a month? Can you do that? Can you not put the backstage stuff on about what just happened until at least a month later on? That's all I'm asking, man. Because at the moment, you're doing it, the show finishes, and by tomorrow everything's backstage and it's all on their official accounts as well. So anyway, we've got SmackDown coming up tonight. They've got triple threat tag team match on their TLC. Wouldn't you know, that sounds like it should be on it sounds like it should have been on WrestleMania, but I digress. We got John Cena and Cody, who's supposed to be on there today, so I guess that's gonna be, surely their promos have to be better now. Surely it can't be the same stuff. Surely Cody don't come out in his suit again and just do nothing. But I digress. So who ruined WrestleMania? That's the question. I put a question mark there because do I think that WrestleMania was ruined by a particular person? No. If I'm being objective, I don't think it was ruined by one person. People believe that WrestleMania was ruined down to the finish of the John Cena and Cody match somehow because The Rock didn't come out. So we'll get to that. But first of all, the overhaul is, for WrestleMania to be ruined, it wouldn't be ruined by one match. We've seen loads and loads of WrestleManias. And you guys can tell me your favorite WrestleMania and tell me what matches were in those WrestleManias. And tell me if every match in that WrestleMania was great. Talk about your favorite ones, not the ones you don't like. No one match will ruin WrestleMania. Not a 2-night WrestleMania. There's just no chance of it. Did the end of John Cena versus Cody stink a little bit? Yeah. I didn't mind I didn't mind the way John Cena won the match and that. I thought the Travis Scott thing was a bit weird. I don't think it was weird in the fact that he came out. I think it was weird the way it was executed. I think that was the weirdest part about it. I think people were enticed that The Rock would have been there as well, so it was a bit of a anticlimax for those people. And there was just the weird exchange between like Cody and now Morris. Give me a second because I'm gonna get to that. I think I know the whole thing between Cody and Travis walking down to the ring extra slow, rubbing his title. Of course he's gonna do that. He's not a wrestler. Of course he's gonna do that. He's not got the experience. I don't blame Travis Scott for any of this. I don't blame him for one single bit of this. I don't blame him for anything that happened at Elimination Chamber. I don't blame him for any. That's just a person who's been hired to do something, and he's a wrestling fan. They put him in that spot. It is what it is. Just like when any other celebrity gets put in that spot, I don't blame them. Even if I don't want them there, I don't blame them. So Morris just said that the match stunk. Well, judging by, first of all, I didn't think the match was rubbish completely, but I don't think it was great. Judging by John Cena and what he's been saying with his character, I actually think that it was purpose. I think it's starting to feel like it was more purposeful than it was accidentally rubbish, because there was a lot of old school moves being used. Big up, son. There's a lot of old school moves being moved in that match from John. Axe handles and regular punches, and you know what I mean. Don't get me wrong. I don't think this could be in his plan. We'll find out down the line, but I do think that like the regular John stuff, that rubbish was rubbish. All right. His whole thing at the moment is he's going to ruin wrestling now. I would have agreed that match was not it until I saw John on the Pat McAfee show, and I realized he's carry on talking about I'm going to ruin wrestling. I'm going to ruin it for you guys. He's trying to take everything that the fans hold power over in wrestling at the moment, or think they hold power. He's trying to ruin it as his character. He's trying to ruin the chants. He's ruined the entrances. He just came out in just black and white with his name. He's in the ring. He's doing slow, methodical, like 80s style wrestling. There wasn't this excited John Cena, I'm going to AAE and roll you up and do a cartwheel and pick you up again. It was none of that. It's like he's purposely trying to do that. So I'm going to leave that there because that's not the main thing. Because whether you think it's stunk or not, or I think it's stunk, my point is one stinky match can't ruin WrestleMania. So before we leave that match, we have The Rock, Exhibit 1, if you will, Phase 1. Let's talk about The Rock because I think a lot of people didn't expect me to do the video because they know Rock's my favorite and I think I'm sitting on the fence and I don't want to say certain things. All it is it's not me sitting on the fence. It's just that if I have a difference of opinion and people don't like it, and then they're like, "Well, you just no." I didn't feel the way everyone felt going into WrestleMania because I constantly done videos from the moment that The Rock turned up on. Let me get my maths right. The 21st of SmackDown. I think it's SmackDown 28th of SmackDown was when he turned up on the screen to speak to Cody. So 7 days before that, so around the 21st of February, SmackDown. The day before, we did a Savage Talks, and the whole thing was The Rock's turning up, and it was on his Instagram, and if I'm correct, it said something of the words, not verbatim, but it was like, today the final boss turns up on SmackDown and causes havoc, and is about to turn someone's world upside down. And we're all like, oh, hold on a minute, The Rock's turned up on. It didn't make any sense to us. The reason why it didn't make any sense to us because a month before, January the 6th, sorry, the Netflix debut, we saw The Rock come out, and he kind of crushed the whole story between him and Cody, and he kind of stepped on it for the embetterment of the company, and he spoke about how great Cody was and all that. So all of us at the time was like, okay, I guess that's over. Maybe The Rock's got stuff to do. Listen, you have to listen to me here, guys. So I'm not answering your comments. I'll get back to them at some point, but there's a timeline here. So we get that moment. Rock is going to turn up. Everyone's surprised because there's no lead. Like from the Netflix show, there was no lead into this. There was nothing to do with The Rock. So we're like, okay. But we're thinking The Rock's going to turn up. He's going to talk about WrestleMania 43, 43, 42, 42, and New Orleans. So he comes and he announces that, and if you guys remember as well, he makes an appearance on NXT too. Um, both times, by the way, everyone in unison said that The Rock's promo seemed to be off. Not that he couldn't talk, but he sounded like it's almost like he didn't know what he was talking about. Like he was just off the top of his dome completely, and it was a bit of waffle. Um, so yeah, we get that, and he turns up, and then Cody comes out, and then he addresses Cody, and he starts, "Oh, they love you, Cody. They love you." Yeah, I mean, address them, and then Cody's like, "I love you too" to the crowd and all that stuff, and he's like, "Growing up, I didn't have a brother, and blah 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 blah, and your dad was my favorite, blah 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 blah, and I want you to be my champion, Cody." And he rubs his face, and it's all weird, it's all diddified and that, and everyone's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Pete, you have to remember, don't try and rewrite history. You was all confused. So was I. All of us was confused about that promo. What the fuck is going on? What do you mean? I want your soul, Cody. I want you to be my champion. We're like, okay. For the first time, ever, in unison, I saw people cooking the Rock's promo the day after. Like, I'm talking about not that the promo, how he executed it was shit. The fact that it was just bullshit, bro. It was weird. And it was in the midst of all the Diddy stuff. It sounded a bit Hollywoodish. It's cool though, because if you go into that character and it made sense, fine. This is a character. So in unison, we go through that. Fine. Then we get the 28th of February, SmackDown again. This time, Michael Cole speaks to Cody in the ring. Remember, they had backstage segments with Cody and R-Truth, and he gets into the building and they've given him a platter and he's got his own room and stuff like that, what he doesn't normally have. And then he gets to the ring, he speaks to Michael Cole, and Michael Cole's like, "Oh, I'm getting news that there's something here for you." And then The Rock turns up on the screen and he's about to board the private jet. And he's, "Hey, Cody Rhodes, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Your daddy." Start speaking about your dad, blah, blah, blah. They bring out a truck for The Rock, from The Rock to Cody with the nightmare thingy on it. And it's almost like, yo, make your choice on it, because we're going into Elimination Chamber. Remember, I said the 28th. Elimination Chamber is the 1st of March. So we're days away from now. Now, we're going to pause it right there. The reason why this happened, at the time, I remember saying this doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's weird, bro. But we're not at that time. We don't know anything about John Cena. I'm actually not going to play the clip because I don't want to get copyrighted. This is a bit weird, but just trust me. You lot can go watch on the Pat McAfee show. Like, you're not under a rock. You've probably seen it already. So at this point in the timeline is where The Rock must have said 2 weeks prior to the Go Home show is when he got the call from Ari Emanuel, who's the head of TKO and is The Rock's friend. "Yo, Rock, we need you to come in. The ticket sales are down for Elimination Chamber. We want to know how we can make it must-see for the fans and make it more entertaining." The Rock's words, not mine. That's what happened. Also, leading into Elimination Chamber, we were all complaining about how it was as well. Let's not pretend like we was enjoying life. It was no, we wasn't. We wasn't enjoying life. Between Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber, everyone was all over the place. Okay, so that makes sense. How can it? So then The Rock says, "Okay, I'm gonna come and do you a favor." Why would The Rock do him a favor? Because he is on the board of directors, so it's partly his company as well. That's what happens when you got stocks and stuff in something. You want to make it better. You want to, and obviously, the Rock stuck his neck out to go and put his neck on the line to get that Netflix deal done on it. So now it's like, bro, we've got you on Netflix. We're a month removed from what I've just sealed the deal on, this $5 billion deal. And yeah, you're telling me that tickets are down and stuff like that. And if tickets are down, the chances are that viewing's going to be down. And if viewings are down, Netflix are going to see this. They probably are closing that contract at some point where it's like, yo, if this and by in 5 years into then we're going to have to pull the plug. And you know what I'm saying? So he comes in, he does his help. That's why the the tweet, or the tweet or the Instagram post to say that he was turned up on SmackDown was so random. That's why when he got in the ring, it sounded like he didn't know what he was talking about because he's thinking of something on the fly. Then we get to Elimination Chamber, and then The Rock says John Cena wins. This is for me. This is the only part where The Rock's wrong. This part here, if The Rock didn't do this, everything what The Rock does or doesn't do after this point is fine. So this is where creatively I think he's fucked up. So we get the Elimination Chamber match. John Cena wins the match in it because obviously he didn't win the Royal Rumble, so they could have went some different about this. From the moment John Cena won that match, and The Rock's already been talking about what's going on with him and Cody and all that stuff on Mama Road, all that shit. Okay, the moment John Cena won that match, and we get Cody come to the ring and all that stuff, and it's all congratulations and you've won the chamber and you've done this and all that stuff. And then obviously we know that The Rock wants his answer from Cody. If this just stayed between The Rock and Cody at this point and didn't involve John and didn't involve the cutthroat, John Cena turns heel because of The Rock, all of this shit wouldn't matter to do with The Rock. He wouldn't need to turn up. The problem is by him trying to help the company, by him trying to help Ari Emanuel with the ticket sales and that, and coming in, it's made shit worse, on it. It made shit worse. It made it better for the ticket sales because obviously on SmackDown he said, "I want my answer at Elimination Chamber." They even put it on the card as its separate thing, like Elimination Chamber finishes, and then it said The Rock and Cody, which is crazy. That's how they're going to end the show. So we get what he's trying to do here, but I just don't think you executed very well because all the soul stuff wasn't needed. And the fact that it wasn't needed, fine. But then you involve John Cena. We know that John Cena heel turn was down to Triple H. And we heard that The Rock said, "I've got this idea for this to turn Cody heel." They said no. Okay, they said no. So, okay, we're not going to get heel Cody. We go down the John Cena route. We get the John Cena heel turn. From that moment on, we probably should have got the next Rock appearance on Raw or SmackDown so we can explain, or John can explain, or all of them can get in the ring and explain why the heel turn happened. Because just like what we had with the triple threat match on the weekend and then on Raw, Paul Heyman and Seth got in the ring, the fans need to know it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make great viewing. We're all confused now. Remember, the momentum that WWE had after John Cena turned heel was up trajectory. Everyone was talking about it. They said it was the biggest thing to ever happen in WWE. It's the biggest or since the Hulk Hogan turn, but it's probably bigger just based on it being John Cena. So all you have to do is ride the coattails of that. We get to Monday Night Raw. There's no, well, first of all, we don't get no John Cena because he's gone back to Bulgaria. We don't get any Rock. We don't get any Travis Scott. It's all a shambles from that moment on. And then we start going into remember, The Rock at this point, behind the scenes, he said that he called him after the Elimination Chamber, and he's told Cody and he's told John Cena, and obviously in turn told Triple H and all that, I'm stepping back. Let me get this because I'm sure it's short enough to just.
There are a lot. The best thing for the final boss, we've established this idea of Cody's soul. We can always come back to it. I did feel, and I made the call, I don't want to be involved in that. Step back. Let the final boss step back into the shadows. Let all the spotlight go to John. Let it go to Cody. Let's not make it about Cody's soul eventually or John's soul. No, let's let them do what they do. And I called John after Elimination Chamber, spoke to him, called Cody, and I said, I think the final boss's work is done. We've established it. We just pulled off the greatest angle in the history of professional wrestling, other than Hulk Hogan turning heel back in the 90s. I said, this is amazing. We have 6 weeks. Now, let's build. You guys go and crush it. And I'll be right there with you. And I'm always here if you need me. But I think it's best for the final boss not to be involved in that finish. You guys go. So they had 6 weeks to plan for that. So I love the finish of the match. I would have finessed things a little differently on how they got there, but that's just me creatively. There are a lot of minds in the room. That's my thought. But still, ultimately, the bottom line was I love John getting 17.
All right. Final boss. They're his words. He wanted to step back. The limelight be on John Cena and Cody. Listen, is The Rock telling the truth? Who knows? Like, the thing is, why would he need to lie when the year before he had the fans turn on him then anyway when he got to the Cody thing? In fact, it was worse the year before with the Cody Crybaby stuff. What I believe is, from his own words there, is everything you said is correct. Leave it to John Cena. Should have all the spotlight. It's his 17th title. It should be all on John Cena. The problem you had is trying to help out the company. You brought this soul snatching thing in, and once you've done that, you're basically saying, I've helped now. The tickets are up. I'm gonna go back into and we would all be like, "Yo, Rock, yeah, fine, dip off." If you didn't if the whole story didn't end up being about you? You ended up making the story not just about you, but a lot about you because it's, oh my god, his soul to The Rock. Now we didn't we didn't need that. We could have had The Rock do what he done, Cody tell him to fuck off, The Rock walk off, do something, and then John still kicks him in the balls and never mentions the fact that it's because of The Rock. Because we all know selling your soul, which they think of what I'm saying here, there is no reason for John Cena to sell his soul. If he did it before the Elimination Chamber and then Travis Scott helped him win, if Travis Scott helped John Cena win the Elimination Chamber and then it's revealed that, oh my God, this is what happened because of The Rock, then it makes sense to sold his soul. Then we could have sold the story of John Cena feels like he's getting old now. He feels like he's rusted in the ring and he can't do it anymore. He promised to win at the Royal Rumble and he didn't get it done. He needed a bit of help. The Rock can give him the title. He can give him his 17th title. The fact that John Cena won it clean on his own means that there's no reason for The Rock anymore. Because The Rock is a Hollywood actor. John Cena is a Hollywood actor. The Rock is a WWE legend. John Cena is a WWE legend. The Rock has about seven or eight titles. John Cena has 17. So, if anything, like what you're gonna do? Give him a movie role? He doesn't need your movie role. He's fine. He's comfy in Hollywood. So that's where The Rock fucked up. So I do agree with him with the stepping back thing. I think that's a selfless thing to do because you don't want all the heat taken away from John Cena, but also John Cena's heel now, so it kind of doesn't matter. Now, there was a time before WrestleMania as well where it was announced that The Rock wasn't going to be at WrestleMania. I remember this vividly, and the word from not The Rock himself, but whoever's camp was, The Rock was annoyed by people saying that he wasn't going to be there. Now, it's to me, it feels like The Rock was annoyed because of tickets and that. Because as long as the fans feel there's a possibility of turning up, you've done nothing wrong. Morel, stop doing that. Stop spamming the chat. You done that yesterday as well. Stop it. As long as the fans believe there's a chance of you turning up, it invokes ticket sales. People start going, you know what? Let me buy that ticket just in case he does turn up. That way, there's no emphasis on The Rock to be there. You've not like I don't know, like false advertised to fans on that part. You haven't, because it's just that they're thinking. So that could have been the reason, but yeah, you can't start a story and then turn it off with 6 weeks to go to WrestleMania. It doesn't make any sense, bro. Like you just can't do that, bro. It doesn't work out. There's minor stories we've seen been dashed out before, but this is the main story. It's not just the main story in night 1 or night 2. It's the main story in WWE at the time. So again, valid that you want to step away and give John Cena the spotlight. I think that's cold. The way you done it didn't work out. And it seems to me, and we're going to go into Triple H, it seems to me that there's a lack of communication between the two parties. I don't want to say the individuals because it sounds a bit like playground, and I think that they've got teams and that, you know what I mean? Rock's got his own writer as well, and Triple H's got his whole team with him, Pritchard and all that. But it feels like there's a lack of cohesion between them because as we saw with WrestleMania Access, there was finally The Rock has come back to Las Vegas t-shirts. Now, do I believe that The Rock knew? Nah, because I don't think it's not an official Rock merch. You know what I mean? The Rock, it's not like the Just Bring It merch or anything like that. It's just one of those ones that you have in different towns and stuff like that. So somebody made that on the backing that The Rock was going to be there. But The Rock has stated there that he's already told them with 6 weeks to go, I'm not going to be at WrestleMania. This is where it goes on to Triple H. This is where if you believe that one match ruined WrestleMania, if you guys believe that, then yeah, blame The Rock. Then that's fine. That's fine. But now you're gonna see the reason why Triple H. Okay, first of all, and The Rock spoke well of the staff and that, so I don't want to make it seem like please watch it. Don't just take the clip of you. Like, go watch it. He said he would finesse things and that creatively in his own way, and he didn't know that Travis Scott was going to be out there. So that's weird, isn't it? Because obviously on screen is with Travis Scott, but that night when they did it at Elimination Chamber, he just brought Travis Scott out with him. It wasn't like a pre-planned thing. So the fact that when he said that I would have finessed it and I would have ended it different myself, I think that means I wouldn't have sent Travis Scott out there. Why would I do that? It doesn't make any sense. Travis Scott looking like a Disney minion with the big guy with the villain looks cool. You got like Aladdin, you got Jafar, and you got Yago on his shoulder. You got Mufasa, and you got Zazu on his shoulder. That's what Travis Scott is to me. He's the little minion in the background who, what I mean, once you attack somebody, then they scrape the bones off him. He's not like a big deal, but he comes out all skinny, soaking wet, about 120 pounds, and that doesn't look danger to anybody. I mean, entrance is all right, kind of cool, but then he walks out slow and he's rubbing the belt, and it's like you're not intimidating to anyone. And when he stood next to Cody, it looked even worse because Cody isn't seen as a big guy in WWE, but compared to Travis Scott, you get what I'm saying. So, all right, Triple H, let's cut Triple H some grace, but also this is the issue I'm going to have. So The Rock, they're throwing around ideas. He wants Cody to turn heel. Cody and Triple H don't want that to happen. Triple H spoke about that in his interview himself. So he said, okay, we're going to phone up John. What about John? What about if you turn heel? John says, yes, great, straight away. Calls him back. I'm on it. Cool. All right. 6 weeks. March the 1st, Elimination Chamber. WrestleMania 19th and 20th, or 20th and 21st, whichever you want to do. 6 weeks. 6 weeks, just over 6 weeks. We get all these Raws and SmackDown. We go into the European tour. Clearly, from the first European tour, we saw John Cena, and we did a video on this. We did the live streams. There was a pivot made instantly because the first time we heard him speak, there was no mention of The Rock. He started blaming the fans for the reason why he turned. And I was like, okay, the pivot's gone now. The Rock ain't turned up at Rain. At this point, I didn't think The Rock was turning up at all. And clearly he wasn't. The pivot's been made. The whole story's changed. And even when Cody comes out and speaks to John Cena, he doesn't mention The Rock. He doesn't mention the Travis Scott punching him in his ear. He just mentions they loved you and you've turned on them. So, okay, the dynamic's changing that. Now we've got Cena and Cody and we've got the fans. We've still got 6 weeks. We've still got 6 weeks, which to me, if my maths is correct, is 6 Raws and 6 SmackDowns. It's about right, isn't it? Go home show and everything like that. 12 hours, because the brand split don't even matter. So you've got, I don't even know when it comes to Raw, because Raw's all over the place, but what's Raw 3 hours? Is Raw 3 hours long or something like that? So, I don't know. 18 hours of Raw, 18 hours of SmackDown. You got a lot of hours. You can do vignettes, you can do backstage stuff, you can change it up completely. 12 shows in total. Yeah, there we go. So they refuse to do that. They make it this stupid, okay, it's about the fans, but we changed it. And to be fair, John Cena was pretty decent in the ring talking. So, started making about the kid. The kid became a meme. Everyone, okay, we get it. All of that stuff, the spinning title and that. But there was still that lingering thing where it's like they didn't mention The Rock again. They didn't mention The Rock again. They didn't mention The Rock again. At this point, Triple H, creative team, you won't be able to get the fans to forget about The Rock. Just stop it, innit? You just won't be able to do it. I know you tried to blend it off. They mentioned The Rock one time in the whole of the weeks that were there. Okay, so you can still mention The Rock, but just pivot and don't make it all about him. And before The Rock leaves and says he's going to take a step back, say, listen, Rock, that's cool. We're going to need you to film. You see that thing you did on the runway on SmackDown when you was nowhere near the building, by the way, and you can have a phone and a camera. Record something. Record a couple of these promos for us. Record a minute clip of a couple of these for us, just so we can use them if we need to use them, because the fans are going to want to know what's going on with The Rock in it. Okay, tell me what. Please tell me that these hours, this time, these days, there wasn't enough time for Triple H and his creative team to come up with something better than Travis Scott coming out of WrestleMania and Johnson hitting Cody with a title between the eyes. Come on, man. This can't be the same creative team that did WrestleMania 40. There's no way. We did a watch along to WrestleMania 40 yesterday. It was great. We saw the build up to WrestleMania 40. It was actually, let's not lie. The build up to WrestleMania 40 was shit too. It was all confusing as well. Again, because Cody Crybabies came out and The Rock didn't get what he wanted, and so they changed it. So it seems like every time they come up with a good idea, they change it, and then they're gonna have to try and do better. They didn't do better. It sucked. Now, the question remains. I'm going to ask you that again. If you believe that one match ruined WrestleMania, then you're gonna have to blame The Rock and Triple H. The Rock for not being there, and messing up the story. But Triple H having 6 weeks and not throwing anything better together. And let's be honest, creative team or no creative team, every one of us, every other wrestling content creator could have made a better story than Travis Scott coming out. We all could have done that. We all could have done that. Now, if you're like me and you believe that there's 2 nights of WrestleMania, there's 14 matches, so for WrestleMania to be ruined off one doesn't make much sense. Surely the blame has to go with the creative team, because if this was the only match that was underwhelming, but all the rest were great, we wouldn't be complaining, because every WrestleMania has matches that ain't great. Every WrestleMania has matches that ain't great. They just do. Every WrestleMania has matches that a variety of people don't care about. They just do. But remember, at the same time we're getting this story, we're getting a story on the other side, on the Paul Heyman and the Paul match, the custody of Paul Heyman match. Now, the difference with their story is it culminated in a great match. But the build-up was shit. Let's not rewrite history. I know everyone likes doing that. We saw the end of it. Everyone's excited because of how it went, and Paul turned on Roman and Paul turned on CM Punk. So now it means that the story was great. The story wasn't great. It wasn't great. We had numerous brawls. We had contract signings. We had a lot of Seth Rollins laughing. Every week, one of them did the finishing move to the other one and then just laid there. They didn't give us a reason. It was all about fucking favor. Let's not pretend like that was great too. But the culmination was, and I remember saying in the preview, and I remember saying weeks up leading into it. Go and check the channel. There's one what just says, I don't even know, trash with John Cena on it. Leading up to it, I said this would happen. I said, this will be rubbish, and then you'll get to WrestleMania and they'll probably put something on better. Now, the difference is what I didn't know is that I thought that they would have made WrestleMania even better. Now, me personally don't think WrestleMania's ruined, because was it great? No. Is it going to be able to watch back? Probably not. But while I was watching it, was I enjoying myself? Yeah, when I think about it, there's matches that I enjoyed in it. But if everything was perfect, if everything was 75% perfect leading up to WrestleMania, and then this one match happened where The Rock didn't turn up, that's 100% who I'd blame, because you've messed up the show. I can't, bro. I can't. This is on Triple H and his creative team. This is on fucking Triple H and whoever's on the casting list when every SmackDown and Raw finishes. When the casting list comes up, it says Lee Fitting and Paul Levesque every single time. We had a whole weekend of these wrestlers wanking Triple H off at the Hall of Fame. Everything was about him. We had a video package of Triple H every fucking week for 7 weeks. But for all the rest of the Hall of Famers, hardly any video package. And for all the vignettes, hardly any vignettes. We had no Chelsea Green at WrestleMania. We didn't have the Women's Intercontinental title defend at WrestleMania. We didn't get the Street Profits with their tag team titles at WrestleMania. So is that on The Rock too? He doesn't have anything to do with that. Now, Morris makes a point here, and Morris, you're my guy, man, but I will say this. You're allowed to have high hopes, but you people who get disappointed because the dirt sheet said something and then it doesn't happen, it's your own fault. I can't lie. It's your own fault, because they're not in the wrestling business, bro. Like, there's the wrestling business and then there's everything surrounding it. You know what I mean? So, like, it's like a journalist in press conferences at football. Like, we don't need you to play good football. We don't need you to put on a good match. You're there, though. You're an accessory to it. Like, I'm not in the wrestling business like that. I'm an accessory to it. So if I say I've had, who do I know? If I say Pete told me that this is possibly going to happen and it doesn't happen, and then you get mad at Pete because I watched Savage and he said that, you said, brother, that's your own fault, bro. That's your own fault. Like, for those people, it's all you. It's all you. The dirt sheets get nearly like, okay, put it this way: the stuff that they get right internally with WWE, and it sounds official, means that WWE have told people already. I promise you this, because I get emails on these things, bro. If someone's injured, and then there's like there's a presser been released, they send pressers to everyone. I just don't care to report on injuries, because why would I care? You know what I mean? It's not like the Kevin Owens thing where he got reported that he was injured and he came out the next day and he was pissed about it. But it's just the same as, oh my God. If you, for example, if you like spoilers, which you guys know I don't, if there's a spoiler. I remember there was actually. So, I heard that in Endgame, Captain America dies, and you're the biggest Tony Stark fan. You hear Captain America dies, you're like, at least, listen, at least it's not Tony, man. I can go watch this. It's gonna be sad that Cap dies. Cap dies. All of a sudden, you come out, you motherfucking dirt sheets, you Marvel dirt sheets. How dare you tell me that? But it's your own fault, bro. Because these are things that you're not meant to know. You're not meant to know. I don't get mad at stuff I'm not meant to know and it don't go through. Just like in football, we get like all these tier list journalists and all that stuff. They said that this was going to happen and this footballer's going to go here. And there's footballers that I know, and there's footballers in my family that I've heard journalists speak about while they're sitting next to me, and I'm like, well, this story can't be true because you sat next to me. So getting mad off stuff that you're not meant to know is crazy to me, and I think a lot more went into the media around WrestleMania and all the podcasts. Triple H was on every pod. I like Listen, let me not even exaggerate. Let me not lie to myself in it. I'm a massive fan of Triple H and massive fan of Triple H and what he done for the wrestling business and how great he was when I was a child. Big part of my childhood because he was the antagonist for The Rock. So he was massive in my childhood. Paul Levesque is a different story. I don't hate him. I think he's a decent man. He sounds like he's got his head screwed on and knows what he's doing. I was very sad when he had his heart problems and I was hoping that he'd pull through. I didn't want anything bad to happen to him. It'll be a sad day if anything bad happens to Triple H, Paul Levesque. But it might be just the fact that everyone else is treating him a certain way that makes me think a certain way about him because it's so annoying, bro. Everything he does is got to be, it's perfect to know, or what you're like saying now, Triple H is cooking. Okay, but then when it goes wrong, that it's got to be the same person. That's how it works, bro. It's how it works. That's like my son making it as a Hollywood actor, and I'm like, oh my god, it's because me as a dad, I did all this stuff for him. But then the same son, while he's a Hollywood actor, goes and runs somebody over, and then I'm like, yeah, it's nothing to do with me, bro. That's on his mom's side, bro. Nah, bro. Like if I took the praise for what was good, then the criticism you got to take it. And Triple H was trying to do. This is how I know. This is how I know. And bear in mind, this ain't my answer. This is how I know that Triple H knew that there's a possibility that this WrestleMania wasn't going to go off like he thought it was. This is why I knew that he knew that a lot of wrestling fans were assuming The Rock was going to turn up. The only thing I'll say to you guys is Triple H definitely told you in an interview before WrestleMania The Rock isn't going to be there. He definitely said that. He definitely said that. Now, the difference is you lot all thought he was lying because it's a swerve. This is what happened when you get into the business of what you're not supposed to know. Now you don't know what to swerve, what to work, what to shoot. You don't know what the difference is. He literally like, guys, I'm not lying to you. Go and watch it. Him and Pete Rosenberg. He literally mentions The Rock isn't going to be there. He's got other stuff going on. He won't be there. But you fall into the trap of it. Shit goes on. And I'm not mad at everyone for thinking it because, of course, we've been swerved in the past and stuff like that. I think they said Becky wasn't going to have anything to do with WrestleMania. But you saw her backstage cheering on Seth Rollins. You know what I mean? I think Jordan Grace in the Royal Rumble said she put a ticket of a plane ticket going to see her mom, saying, like, I'm not going to be at WrestleMania. For me, when I see people mentioning stuff, I'm like, well, okay, that's possible. But I like the excitement of not knowing. I like the excitement of this new thing. It's a psychological thing where like people feel like they feel special that they're in the know over something. People come to this channel all the time and tell me stuff, and they tell me as if they come up with it. They're like, "Oh, Savage, have you thought that? What if this happens?" And I'm like, "Ain't that just what's online now? Like, that's literally trending. Like you're not because they want to feel special over it." But I don't want to sound like Triple H in that because I thought Triple H was kind of rude with what he said in his comments and that. But this is why I said earlier, we're going to have to go and start a new way of being a wrestling fan because me anyway, some of you guys are already into that stuff and some of you guys, they have come up in the level of wrestling where everything's been out in the open anyway. I do think that the next documentary is going to be the death of wrestling 100%. I think it's, I think once that documentary is released, Unreal, even the name Unreal or whatever it's called, I feel like you're going to lose a lot of older viewers and then then everyone's going to start thinking they know even more. So it's a shame still. It's a shame, but I could just tell the way that's why Triple H was getting so ratty. That's why he was getting so annoyed and about what was he saying? The legends, the people of his peers on podcast talking about people breaking kayfabe, but then you're doing the same. Triple H, you're doing a whole documentary, letting people in the writers' room like kayfabe's done now. It's over with, bro. It's over with. The breaking of kayfabe is so bad now that people who still stick to their character look like the stupid ones. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate what Dom Mysterio does, but to a lot of people, he probably looks like an idiot now because what's he doing? We all know the truth. So it's crazy. So let me get to the comment section before we get out of here because I don't want to do an hour. We'll be back tomorrow to do a SmackDown review, possibly, and then maybe a Q&A in the evening. Don't mind doing at these times as long as I don't finish too late. So, now going to lie, had we spoke that one already. The storytelling was wank savage. Yeah, it was. It was rubbish. Vince would never have something like WWE Unreal happen. Yeah, the closest thing that we ever got to Vince doing something like that was what was that DVD I had? WWE Beyond the Mat. Funny enough, I watched WWE Beyond the Mat way later than everyone else because I didn't want to. I saw like a clip of it, and then I remember saying to my granddad, like, "Nah, that's not real. That's make believe." Because obviously, there was some secrets in there, and I think there was like the Rock and Mankind after he bust his head open or something, but it was very like surface level. Like you couldn't really hear what JR and that was saying. It was more to do with Vince and people turning up to was it, I can't remember who made that documentary, but there was a guy turning up. I think it was was it Droz? I remember when Droz turned up or I don't know, but I remember it showing like an interview process of how Vince takes on new wrestlers, and it's quite crazy because I can imagine now you have the PC now, but in that episode, Vince was like, "What's your secret talents?" Mum was like, "Listen, what's your name?" Is like, "I'm puke." And he's like, "What's your special talents?" Like, "I can throw up on demand." And then Vince was like, "All right, show me, give him a bin." And then Vince was doing the commentary in the background. He's like, "Look at him, look at him. He's gonna puke. It's puke." It was interesting, man. It was interesting, and it showed like the indie side of certain things as well and how bad it was, dark side of the ring type of thing. But um, big up Grayson Waller because he's always in character. Yeah. There's lots of people, man. That's why like people still love it. That's why MJF's always in character, bro. Always, always. I like it when I see somebody walk down to the ring. Who done it not long? Probably Nia Jax actually. And walk down to the ring and grab someone's sign off them and tear it up. Listen, the kid can cry all he likes, but you're on TV and I've ripped your sign up. That's going down in WrestleMania history now or Raw history. Deal with it because I'm a heel in it. And your dad should have told you better. I like stuff like that, man. So I just feel like WrestleMania, this WrestleMania we just had, doesn't have rewatchability to me. It just doesn't. But I almost feel like if that triple threat match had a title in it, it would be up there with the best WrestleMania matches of all time, 100%, with the whole story and the title. If Seth won a title at the end of that, it would have been incredible. I thought the women really put on a good show in that first triple threat match. I thought Naomi and even though I'm probably not going to go watch back Naomi and Jade in that match, it was still a great match. I thought same with Priest and McIntyre as well. Some hard hitting matches, but at the end of the day, WrestleMania is about moments and variety and stuff like that as well. MJF is Logan Paul of AEW. I don't think that's his character. I think that's actually him, but I could be wrong. I've met MJF before. But I'll leave the mystery with you there, innit? Because kayfabe to the death of me, like that. But I don't know, man. I don't know. This is the reason why I asked this question. Is who ruined WrestleMania? Is a question floating around the internet. It wasn't really who ruined WrestleMania. There's a lot of people just attacking different guys, and I don't think anyone should attack Triple H or The Rock. I feel like wrestling moves on. It doesn't have an off season like other TV shows. So it is hard for them. Yeah, I mean they have to. They almost have to merge whatever they're gonna do into the next Raw show and continue. There's no like that was the end. If WrestleMania, I thought about this earlier. If WrestleMania finished, and then imagine if we just had time off. I know it's never gonna happen. Actually, you never know with the way WrestleMania is now, and so if we would have getting a 2-night SummerSlam. But do you ever think like if WrestleMania finishes, and then we all know in unison that there's no Monday Night Raw. Like the Raw after Mania will be in a month's time. Like a TV show would be. Whereas at the end of the season, and then you come back, it gives you a recap, and then you go into it. I think that I'm not saying I want it to happen, but I think the way WWE's going now, and the fact it's on Netflix and we're starting to get, I knew they were going to make Netflix document some of my favorite stuff on it. So I knew that we're going to start. But I'm thinking on the Triple H and Nick, I can't rule it out because I feel like they're going to go with the times. Now, obviously, the problem will be is the fact that they they'll lose money in it because obviously they're supposed to be doing a live show. They're supposed to be doing Raw and SmackDown, so then lose money. But we might go back to that, man. We're not back to. We might get to that. We might even have like there is a Raw after WrestleMania, or there is a SmackDown after WrestleMania, but they don't televise it. It's recorded, so obviously people who are in the live attendance can post their tweets and that give you spoilers. But and then they take all of that footage, what they've done, recorded, and they start adding in vignettes and stuff in between it, so they can finesse what kind of vignettes they want to put in there, make it more cinematic. So when they bring it back on, it's like, yeah, the crowd tried to spoil it for her, but we've changed this and this and this is in there, and this is how we're gonna go moving forward. I just wonder. I wonder if it helps them creatively. But listen, the cat's out the bag now. The cat's out the bag now. I'm never gonna tell people to go terrorize people and that, but I have a feeling that when we speak about WWE writers, we speak about the wrestlers, the ones who are ex-wrestlers, and Bruce Pritchard. We're going to be exposed to, I don't know what, 12 writers, maybe more, when that documentary comes out. We're going to see them. Their name's going to be in the cast list. They're all going to have social medias and stuff like that. We're going to find out some home truths. We're going to find out that this was going to happen and they fucked it up, or this could have been great and they didn't do that. Just like they're doing behind the scenes and deleted scenes on movies. All of a sudden, everyone's going to rewrite history and say that I never said that. I've always said that this guy could do that. So listen, the cat's out the bag, man. Like, I would like to say I'm not going to view the documentary, but like I said, I love a documentary. So it's going to be interesting. I will say this on it because I was watching the WrestleMania vlogs earlier, the Jey Uso ones and that. And I have to say, I'm trying to get better at what I do on this channel, and I'm trying to get better at I can't tame myself in that. Like, the name Savage and it is what it is, but I do have a lot more empathy for everyone in the wrestling business, and especially when you see the love that most of them have for each other behind the scenes. You kind of fall out of that because wrestling gets very tribalistic, and it's the reason why I don't do the hating AEW thing, because all the people on AEW and all the people on WWE, most of them are friends, best friends. So it's like, while you guys are fighting each other with AEW fans, I'm like, you're fighting over these two, but these two are best friends. You're fighting over Sasha, you ruined yourself going over there. Bailey stayed. I'm like, Bailey and Sasha and Naomi, they're all best friends, so good luck with that, mate. While you're arguing, they're laughing, counting the millions and going for coffees and matcha and that. So, you get me? It's a bit of a weird one. It's the same with football. Yeah, everyone's acting tribal on that. Meanwhile, the guy from that team and the guy from that team both play for England and they're best friends. So, have a lot more empathy. And I feel like the documentaries can help in a certain way. I don't think it's going to help in the way they think. I don't think it's going to make them more money. I don't think it's going to put more eyes on the product. I think it might change people's their perception of what the wrestlers do or how nice certain wrestlers are. Because even when I watched that Jey Uso documentary, I love Jey anyway, and he does it every year. So, but when I went to the comment section, all of a sudden I seen a lot of more empathy for Jey in the comment section, when you can see the emotions and that behind it and the respect from everybody behind the scenes. And oh yeah, there's Undertaker's approaching him, giving him a hug, and there's Charlotte shaking his hand on the way out, and there's Homegirl shaking his hand, and Bailey's very proud of him and she's giving him hugs. I'm like, yeah. While everyone's dissing him on the internet, his peers couldn't be more happy for him. And I'm with that, man. I'm with that. All I want is the product to be great. And I don't need it to be 100% great, because that never happens. Like, they very rarely find a 100% great movie. You can always nitpick at stuff. I just want the product to be great, to entertain me first, because, yeah, we're all selfish, and entertain the rest of the fans. And then then the discourse online can be all of us fans talking about things that were more fun instead of this was rubbish. And don't get me wrong, we have a part to play in that, because we do moan about stuff a lot. And everyone has a voice now, and everyone has a Twitter, and everyone is trigger happy with the stuff they say. Yeah, I mean, none of you lot should be talking about wrestlers' appearances to them online. It's weird. None of you lot should be. Maybe if you're talking about the wrestling gear, that wrestling gear is funny. How you dressed like that. Finn Balor, you got the yellow gloves on. His character work. Don't be talking about Finn Balor's face, though. You know what I mean? Don't be talking about homegirl's weight to her. Whether you think whatever or not, don't do that, bro. It's weird, bro. It's very strange because these are the same people that if you bump into them when they're in your town doing a show, you're gonna want to take a photograph. That's strange. Don't at them. Talk amongst yourself and have those conversations. I have to let you lot know, off the top of my head anyway. I don't personally dislike any wrestler, bro. I have no reason to. I have no reason to. They've never done anything wrong to me. Like they've never said anything. They've never said I don't like that guy who does that content is a prick. I've never heard any of that. There's no reason for me to dislike them. Disliking characters is part of the trade. One, you can just dislike the character because you just don't like the direction of the character, or you just dislike the character because they're doing their job and they're a heel and you're not supposed to like them. You know what I mean? I feel like the more grown up you get, the more you become an adult, you naturally kind of veer with the heels more time because you understand the nuances of life, and no one's really a babyface in life, and you're more like a tweener in real life. Some people are just nicer, but a real life babyface will like wind you up when you've got the stresses of bills and that. You're like, listen, you prick, bruv, with your perfect hair and your perfect teeth and your perfect suit. Shut up, man. Shut up, man. We don't have a tour bus and get out to bring our dog and wife to work, bro. Just let me cook in it. Just up telling me what you want to talk about. Nothing, bro. So, love for the love, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go chill, have a cup of tea, get ready to watch SmackDown. Come back tomorrow. I'll record my reactions. I'll pull them up. If the show's good or if the show's got enough to talk about, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Then we'll put Hugo online. The only thing, guys, if you're watching this now, go and follow Hugo online in it because part of the reason, and no Morris is the one who asked when they're gonna do it. And I'm telling you, bro, like I'd speak to Enzo and I was like, should I choose between doing a stream on Savage Sports Wrestling or Hugo Online? And he said probably do the wrestling one. And I'm not trying to do a stream with one person in there, bro. I'm just letting people know, and it's not the views when it comes to money. I'm just not trying to do a stream with one person in there unless I have someone on screen with me and I just don't care. But I'm not doing that. It's a waste of my time. And at the end of the day, I'm the one who has to record and that stuff in it. So, but I do appreciate you guys who coming today. Who some of you commented, so brilliant for commenting. Some of you guys just watched. That's fine as well, man. If you like the video, then just hit the like button. I'm not trying to pressure people into hit the like. I don't care. But I'm saying if you already liked it, then you might as well like the video. If you disliked it, please dislike the video so I can see the analytics and know. I need to know who likes what in it. This is what it is. I'm not sensitive to it. I couldn't give a shit. But we'll be back tomorrow. We're on a streak at the moment. We've streamed every day from Postmania. We'll keep it going. Eventually, it won't be every single day, but it'll probably be like 5 times a week. But obviously, I need to get my rest of my videos in anyway. And hopefully, from this moment on, WWE goes strength to strength. And hopefully, tomorrow when we do a SmackDown review, we say it's great. Although, I have reservations on it. I have reservations. Maybe Aleister Black can change, you know what I mean? But I got reservations. But it is what it is, man. It's the wrestling business. I've been watching it my whole life, and I'll be lying to myself, and I'm going to stop watching it. Bro, if I was going to stop watching it, I would have stopped watching it in like 2010. If I got through that era, flipping out. It is what it is. Love for the love, guys. It's been emotional. Yeah. We can talk about that, bro. We can talk about that because I got to do a video on it anyway, so we can definitely cover it. And I'll see if Enz and G are around as well. Get some other perspectives on it. And then if you got anything else to bring to the table, just bring in some comments. And then we can talk about that as well. And I can bring it up on the screen and we can chop it up for an hour and get yourself a drink and we'll just chop. You know what I mean? But yeah, who ruined WrestleMania? Let me be fair, man. WrestleMania wasn't ruined. It just wasn't to my liking. Hundreds of thousands of millions of people enjoyed it. I enjoyed it while I was watching it. I won't watch it back again. I don't blame Triple H or The Rock. I think you both had mishaps in the building to this and the creative, but love both of you, and I just hope you build a better product, and I hope you have more communication between you to build a better product as well. Because I feel like if you do that properly, and we have a proper teamwork, then we can build a great brand, and we can go from there, man. Yeah, you know I mean, because one person who never had problems with creative is my guy Bray Wyatt.